I thought the other one was going to be our opening.
I don't know the other one. I don't know the other one.
I can't even remember what we did before.
I don't remember. But hey, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Monster Girls Survivor's Guide with Jin and Mike. I am Otaku Mike. As always, with me is the Monster Girl aficionado, the one, the only, Jin Graves. How are you doing, Jin Graves?
I'm doing pretty good.
That is good. And so today we are looking at, I guess you could say, a very popular Monster Girl.
I have to ask.
Yes.
When did I lose my professor status?
Oh, sorry. Doctor, Professor, PhD, Jin Graves. We are looking at the werewolf. There are many different forms and kinds of werewolves in mythology. And we are going to look at the mythology of Kinko Cross's Monster Girl Encyclopedia, and is a werewolf in this universe different from, let's say, the Wolfman? Who knows? But let's get into this. So the werewolf is part of the wolf family. It's a beast type or beastman type. The habitat is forest, mountains, etc. The nature is very violent and loyal, or can be loyal. And their diet is carnivorous. They eat wild animals and etc. So, Jin Graves.
I feel really weird because, until this point, everything was essence.
Everything was essence. Yes, that is true. The succubus and the slimes were like that. So let's get started in talking about the werewolf. The werewolf is a pretty violent monster girl. They're very strong and very fast. They can run really fast because they are wolves. They do run in packs from time to time. You can find the werewolf alone by itself as well. Do you want to discuss what happens when a human gets brought into the pack?
No.
Why not?
Because there's a lot of things that could happen when they come into the pack. Let's just say everybody howls at the moon that night. And let's just say, even though this is a monster girl that are cute and represented differently
than most werewolves,
yes, they still have that vivacious attitude and everything. Like if you ever play a video game or watch anything, a werewolf goes after its prey. And a whole mess of them obviously is a bad idea because they'll rip you to pieces. This one is going to rip you to pieces, but in a different way.
Oh, day in and day out. Especially when they get on the, what was it called? There's a special time in the werewolf. It's like
when they're in heat.
Yes, when they're in heat. Yes, it was called something else in here. I was trying to figure out where it was. But when they're in heat,
is it the full moon? It's got to be the full moon.
The full moon. Yes, the full moon. I don't know why I was blanking on that, but when the werewolves, they sure do go at it when there's a full moon. Do not cross a werewolf, especially if you're a werewolf's husband.
Do tell.
Well, because just because you're married to a werewolf as in this world, that does not mean you are susceptible to the other werewolves. Like they can come at you whenever they want to. It seems
You get
like
shared.
you get shared a lot.
I wonder if there's any guys in this world named Sharon.
I don't know, but they are pretty savage. But one thing though is the werewolf can fall deeply in love with a human, and they're a lot like the orc. Their demeanor changes to more of a um,
Like a puppy.
like a puppy almost. Yes, they fawn over the
Gentleman.
the gentleman, and they beg and plead for some fun time, shall we say? Um, you know, the only time um, they seem to um, their urges subside would be when they conceive a child. Other than that, it's fair game. It's doggy time. Like it's time to get to the dog pound. They they never really let up unless they've conceived an offspring. Um, but one thing that's really interesting is that if you're a woman and you get bitten by a werewolf, the mana from the werewolf transfers through their bite into you, and you become a werewolf yourself. And but they are less aggressive, and they don't travel in packs. They think of their family that they already have established as their pack, and they're more docile, as one might say.
Well, that's good. At least I know that I'm not going to have to worry about any of that crap.
Yes, because it can be very problematic, because they can bite their families and just turn their whole family into werewolves.
And you get to turn, and you get to turn.
Turn and you get the turn. Would you, Jen Graves? Would you say this is a fair assessment on what an actual werewolf is within like the lore and mythology of the werewolf?
I think so. I think you just have to also look at it from it is a monster girl standpoint, and so they kind of took all the lore and turned it into a Kinko Cross monster girl type thing, because you can't just sit there and say, "Oh yeah, this is exactly what a werewolf and all that other stuff is down to a T." Obviously, because of what we've seen and stuff before, but there is a lot of different stuff there with it.
Yes. Um, yeah, that is also true. Uh, I would be interested to read more of the because there are other versions of the were slash something else like other monster in the Monster Girl Encyclopedia. I'm really interested to see like the other werewolf type monster girls and see how they counteract to the werewolf in general. Because this is very much cut and dry. Is a werewolf. It just is a horny, kinkier version of the werewolf. You know,
Mixed in with a lapdog.
mixed in with the lapdog when it gets defeated or falls in love with a human.
Which
Uh,
I think it's really funny too. I feel like this is one of the first ones that we're actually getting to look at it where, a lot of people think like in the Kinko Cross world that basically your monster girls and stuff are human wise.
yes.
This is one of the first ones that you're actually seeing like, no, it's all basically led up to everything because of instinct and whatnot. It's
Yeah.
not, they're totally different from the monster girls and stuff in Monster Musume that have feelings and emotions and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I mean, these ones still do too, but it's more of they're trying to get something out of it, instinct, stuff like that.
It's more of a primal instinct, like that urge to survive and procreate. Basically, it's a lot different than the monster girls in, let's say, Monster Musume or something like that. You know, it just seems like they're trying to survive, especially the werewolves. Um, they seem to really only have two things on their mind. That's Howl the Moon, and gobble up those men, basically.
Right.
But yeah, I find it interesting that
I wonder if they'd ever redo a movie based off of it, like
mean
with
like
the Monster Girls.
you
Like
mean
one of my favorite ones is I think it's called The Mark of the Beast with Christina Ricci,
yes,
and it would be really funny to have like a retelling of The Mark of the Beast, but from a Monster Girl standpoint, just be like, mind blown.
yeah. When I was reading this chapter, the only thing that was going through my head was the movie American Werewolf in Paris. Like that's what was going through my head and what I was thinking about when when I was reading this was that movie, and I was like, oh god,
Right. Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf, a wonderful werewolf movie. The first one, not the
What
second one.
what other ones are there? What's the really old one where he like plays basketball and turns into one?
That's Teen Wolf.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then they have the TV show that came out for Teen Wolf.
yeah. There's a lot of different thing and factors you can factor into a werewolf. This is not like the be all end all version of a werewolf. This is just I would say almost a reimagining of the werewolf.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Uh, Cause,
And I really want to know too, because a lot of the times too with like these drawings, I think it portrays I mean not all monster girls. I'm sure there's one that would have a giant bust or something.
yes,
Um but I like how they really focus on the detail in the art with this because um you know ones that are like this probably it would be harder to run with big boobs.
oh, most definitely. They're very they have like very slim builds, and they seem to be very athletic. Like their body seems to be more athletic than, let's say, the hobgoblin,
Right.
who can't run at all.
Right.
So that means you got to run fast when you're running away from the werewolf. But who's to say you would want to run away from the werewolf? I mean, I think the werewolf is honestly kind of cute in a frightening kind of way. You know.
I don't know. At some point, we'll have to do our top 200 monster girls.
Top two. Well, no, we'll have to narrow it down to top 10.
I mean, that would be all 100 or all
Uh,
200.
that's like a 2-hour video in
We'll
into
do
itself.
we'll do a tier list.
A tier list. We'll break them and rank them.
Yep, break them and rank them.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, I don't have any other thoughts on the werewolf. I like the werewolf. I think it's cool. I think it's a really cool reimagining of an old myth or legend. Um, it'll be interesting to see where we go from here with the werewolf. I guess family, or I don't know if it'll be a family really, but
I think there is one.
Because we get into some pretty interesting subjects when it comes to different versions of them.
All right, so Jin Graves is Final thought question.
What are your final thoughts on the werewolf in general?
I really want to know why they have a shackle on her.
Yeah, why is the werewolf shackled?
But final question thought. So you got pets? You got any dogs? You got any dogs? If you how many monster girl werewolves would you have based off of the number of dogs you have, and what would their names be based off of the names of your dogs?
I have one.
And what would your monster girl werewolf be based off of her name?
It would be Luna. Because that's what my dog's name is.
Oh goodness.
Jim Graves has like 4. So you would have 4 werewolves.
I have 3.
Oh, sorry, 3.
Which one of them wouldn't fit into one of these, because there is a offshot of the werewolf later on called the Anubis. That's one of my dog's names. Aries and Ama, or the full name is Amaterasu. So, God, if I ever had to call my monster girls back home, that would be a mouthful to say all 3.
Yeah, it would surely be interesting to have a werewolf living with you. I will just leave it at that.
Wait, I have one more question.
Okay, what?
Would you make her stay outside in a doghouse, or would you let her be an inside house pet?
We'll go with inside. We'll make her a bed on the couch or maybe on the floor. Get one of those nice dog beds. Get a couple chew toys.
Wait, I have another thought too. When they go to bed, would it be the little circle thing that the dogs do before they lay down?
Oh, most definitely. It has to be, right?
I don't know.
I mean, because they are canines after all, So
I
I
guess
pick.
it depends on if they're more human or not.
I'm picturing they get on all fours, like sniff, sniff, do the circle, and then like lay down.
If you ever, I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe they're a little more human than that, but
I like to think not.
At the same time, there might be different varying levels. Maybe like she could like cook for you, / you're running around with a newspaper saying "Don't pee on the wall."
Don't pee on the wall. Stop barking at the mailman.
Yeah.
Don't bark at those people outside.
Oh man. Or if you live somewhere where you had to get you a pooper scooper.
Oh, and
you had to pick. Yeah, let me get my baggie out.
They have the leash law. You have to put them on a leash when they go outside.
Yes.
Get that bag out. Oh, it's a big ass turd.
This spawned into a whole different conversation.
Would you spay and neuter your werewolves like Bob Barker?
Would you have to spay your werewolves, or would it, or
or
would you have to neuter your werewolf?
Like Bob Barker from The Price is Right. Spay. Yeah. Remember to spay and neuter your pets. You spay and neuter your werewolves.
But would you have to neuter them?
I don't know.
There wouldn't be any male werewolves.
Oh, I'm just using neuter as an example. Okay, spay them. Would we spay the werewolves?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Do you have to take them in for regular checkups?
Wait, here's another one. Would you call it a spay, or would it be the other surgery like that humans get?
Oh, I don't know. Would it?
I don't know. Would it?
Do you have to leave pee pads around for them?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Now you're just making me think of the dog from Bruce Almighty. Peeing in the toilet, reading the newspaper.
Do you want to send us out, Jin Graves?
Oh, for sure. Guys, I guess I have to have a new final thought. Goodness. 1 second. It'll be there.
Okay. You have one.
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
Which bone would they be more attracted to? And that's
Hmm.
that's my final thought.
That's an interesting question. Which bone would they be more attracted to? Comment down below with your answer to that question.
Comment down below all the questions.
Of all the questions. As always, I'm Otaku Mike. That's Jin Graves. Go subscribe to his channel.
Jin Graves.
Thank you for watching. Come back for more Monster Girl goodness. Comment on what Monster Girl you want us to talk about next time. You remember, same Monster Girl channel, same Monster Girl time. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.